Welcome back to the channel. So it's been brought to my attention that the Kate Bush song, Running Up That Hill, has become a hit song 40 years after the fact. That song came out in 1985. I guess it was featured on a television show recently, and I think in May was what I was reading. And I'm very grateful to that show for resuscitating this song and bringing it back into the public sphere. It was a hit song in the first place. It's not like it was some kind of indie tune. It was a pretty big song in 1985. I think in the UK it did quite well, and in America it probably was in the top 40. I remember the video coming on all the time, and back then modern dance was like really in, and this Martha Graham inspired dance type stuff she did was really impressive. I wasn't like super into dance, but I remember it sort of set the tone for a lot of the 80s. I think she was impactful on multiple levels, like musically with the choreography and the dance. And to think about the fact that she was literally signed when she was 16 years old, TMI, and they couldn't do anything with her because she wasn't 18 yet. So she ended up getting her music even more advanced than it already was. Brilliant. And she was working on her dance stuff. So when she's 18 years old, she hits the scene with Wuthering Heights. So I've got some of her records here. Let me go through these. Because I'm just super stoked that she's been rediscovered or discovered again by a mainstream audience. So this is the Kick Inside. I believe this is the first complete album. And she's like all of 18, 19 years old on this one. And it has, this one has Cloud Bursting on it, I believe, and the single Wuthering Heights, if I remember correctly. Shoot, maybe not, yeah. Can't remember what all's on here, and I can't see in here. But man, this one's good, and it's quite impressive. I remember seeing the single Babushka, and just thinking, what in the world? And then there was a Christmas special that came out in like 1978. And I recently found it, and it's really avant-garde, Christmas special. And then I really didn't get a hold of her. I didn't really start hearing her music until Running Up That Hill. This is Never Forever, Kate Bush. I really like the artwork on this. It's like really impressive. Let's see if this gate folds. Yes, gate folds. It's all this beautiful looks like fairy tale art or something. I mean, she's just got her own thing going, like a really great artist. That this is the one that has Babushka on it. So maybe this is first before Kick Inside. But Kick Inside was the big one, the first big one that had Wuthering Heights on it. And then, what else do I have here? I have The Sensual World. That's a good song. Deeper Understanding. Rocket's Tale, I remember that one. This Woman's Work is good too. And then she produced this record, so she got more and more creative control. The Sensual World, I like that cover. Let's see, what else do we have here? The Whole Story, this is like a greatest hits, and I recommend this to get you going on her. This one has Wuthering Heights, Cloud Bursting, The Man with the Child in His Eyes. Those are all on that Kick Inside. Breathing, Wow, Hounds of Love, wow, that's amazing. Running Up That Hill, Army Dreamers, Sat in Your Lap, Experiment 4, The Dreaming, and Babushka. So that has all like the major singles on it, except it doesn't have my favorite one. I'll talk about that in a second. Here's Hounds of Love, and this is the album that has Running Up That Hill on it. And Running Up That Hill was, probably one of the major singles of the 80s. When I think about it now, just its significance and the fact that it's come back. I mean, not a lot of those singles have done that, and hers did. Let's see, we got Hounds of Love, Running Up That Hill, The Big Sky, Mother Stands for Comfort, Cloud Bursting. So this is the one that has Cloud Bursting. The Ninth Wave, Dream of Sheep, Under Ice, Waking the Witch, Watching You Without Me, Jig of Life, Hello Earth, and The Morning Fog. Really great record. I haven't heard these records in a minute, and I need to. My whole hi-fi system's another Kick Inside is down. Oh, and I do have a copy of Lionheart. I was thinking that I was missing this one. This is the second album, or third album, and apparently she doesn't like this one as much because she felt like she was rushed by the label. Can you imagine that? The label making the record not be as good as it could have been. I can't picture such a thing. God, I can only imagine what she went through trying to get all this stuff released, you know. It's insane music for a commercial audience. Here is a cloud-bursting single. I bet this is worth some bucks. This is an EMI cloud-bursting single with the real thin European jacket on it. 12-inch single, cloud-bursting. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, and here is the Running Up That Hill single. She's got like an archer thing going here, like a bow and arrow. She looks like Robin Hood or something. And then on the back, you see her naked back with Running Up That Hill written. It's awesome looking record. Man, she's amazing. And this is my favorite, The Dreaming. I don't know why, but this is the record that really blows my mind. And on this record is the single Suspended in Gaffa, which I actually did a cover of. And so it has a special place in my heart. My cover's, you know, almost pointless compared to anything she did, but I did it as a challenge because, and I love the artwork on this one. There's a whole story to this record, and I don't want to, you know, short shrift it by, you know, saying something incorrect. But there's a lot going on with this record, and you can see that she has the wedding, like she's embraced her groom, but like you can see some like chains and stuff, and inside of her mouth she's like looking up, almost like looks like a Renaissance painting or something, like a religious painting, and she's looking up or looking off to the side, and then inside of her mouth is the gold ring. Heavy, man, I'm telling you. Kate Bush. I'm telling you, if you know, the thing about the 1980s, I was talking about this the other day with Something Wild, and I forgot to mention another amazing woman. In Something Wild, Melanie Griffith and Jeff Daniels, but Melanie Griffith is actually incredible in that film, but so is Jeff Daniels. Those two are just unbelievable. I was talking about Ray Liotta, but I was thinking about them. But the 1980s, you know, there was so much stuff going on, and for her to stand out in that decade and be this impactful, it's the music was really something special. And she almost could have gotten stuck in the 70s because she was kind of in the more of the 70s thing, but she was able to make that leap, you know, because she was tight with Peter Gabriel, I think. I don't know for sure, but they did a song together, and that one was on So. That song is on So. And I remember seeing that when I was in college. I like walked into the student center, and that video was on the screen. And anytime I saw her on a video or anything, to this day, really grabs my attention. There's just so much visual with her, and she still looks amazing, and she's like just, you know, incredible. So I do the song because some friends of mine over at the PRF, which is a rock and roll forum, they started this little cover challenge thing where, like, it started off, it was originally writing songs, and so I did a bunch of those. I would like write a song, you know, that week there was like a theme, and you had to come up with a song, and then it kind of morphed into doing covers, which is really fun because this is like basically a post-punk, you know, punk rock forum, people with very discerning tastes and very specific taste, and they're not, you know, they're not really going to suffer a lot of the music that most people listen to. So it was really cool to see these types of people doing covers of like Genesis songs and a Kate Bush song, and like just, you know, just regular pop music, you know, from the 80s and 70s and 60s, 90s, current day. I don't know what they're doing right now. I haven't been contributing lately because when I made my record, I got so absorbed into that, and it was taking up all my energy that I didn't have that excitement to do it that I once had. Because actually recording those covers really gave me the confidence to make my record. And this song, it means a lot to me, besides the fact that it's a great song, but it means a lot to me because it was the first song I recorded on my Zoom. So it sounds a little, I'm going to play it back really quickly. It sounds a little rough and tumble because I hadn't quite figured everything out yet, you know. But it, I don't know, it turned out okay. I've got it on a WAV file so that it's like a master, so I can't really adjust it. But on this actual Zoom, I have all the original tracks. I just didn't have time to reorganize, remix, because I've made it sound way better. I just had some missing vocals, so I couldn't play the whole thing back. and this is the mix that I originally had that I put on the cover. And if you want to listen to the cover or any of the other covers, because the other ones are actually way better than mine, some really amazing people that, you know, contribute to this thing, I'll put a link and you can go you know, check out all the covers and the other Kate Bush ones. I'd noticed at one point that the Kate Bush site had actually, there was like a, I don't know who runs that site, but they had actually taken notice of the of us posting these and had, you know, mirrored the links to their site, which I thought was really cool. When I was trying to cover this song, it was the only one I could find that I thought that I could possibly do like a version of, because she does a lot of piano work. She doesn't do much 4/4. I mean, her stuff is like all over the place. She's like way more musically advanced than I'll ever be. She was more musically advanced than I was ever going to be by the time she was about 13 or 14 years old. So like, she's in a whole nother league musically. Her voice is amazing. I try to sing, you know, high as much as I can. I'm 54, you know, I'm coming up on 54, so I'm still trying to work, you know, to keep that high stuff. So I like the challenge of trying to sing like women. It's not very easy to do, and there's some women I can sing along with comfortably, but she's, you know, sings way high. So I did the best I could. The other thing about this vocal on this tune is that the verses are like super extended, like, you know, unlike the usual rock thing where we make it comfortable and we don't jam up words. We kind of say a certain amount of words in the phrasing and has plenty of time to breathe and all that. She does like this word jumble thing, you know, where there's no time to breathe between bars. You're just going, next thing, going, and into the next thing. And I remember that exhaustion, like, and I can tell when I've heard it back, it's not the greatest vocal, and all this is real grab it and go. I should do it over again and like do it proper. But I think I'll play some of the tracks and I can show you that I've made the drums sound better. I don't know. It's just a raw little cover. But I was really excited to do it, and now I'm super excited that this Running Up That Hill has become, you know, a hit again after all these years, and that people are starting to discover her value and hear the other songs. And so if you're looking for another Kate Bush tune, not my stupid cover, but if you're looking for another one, I think the proper video is on YouTube. The song is on multiple versions, you know, get like a remastered version or whatever. But the video looks like a hell shoot. You can like see people shaking greens in the back, you know, they got like trees and they're shaking them incessantly. And she's like doing her whole dance thing, which is like this running thing. And then the song is like she's having this experience where she's witnessing or she's experiencing God. And then when he comes in her presence, she kind of like loses it and like, you know, kind of goes into slow motion, you know, like a dream where you can't react to something that you should be able to react to. You kind of like you're underwater. Well, instead of being underwater in a dream, she's suspended in gaff tape. And if you don't know what gaff tape is, it's the stuff they use when they make films and TV shows. They use it on the floor to make a mark and use it on everything. Tape lights together, I mean, it's gaff tape. Use it on everything. Comes in handy. So she's suspended in that stuff. It's expensive tape too, so it's probably a very expensive job. So anyway, let me just play this cover back, and we'll ascertain how terrible it is. Wait, let me just get some levels first. I'm going to bring it up nice and slow. Well, that kind of kills the impact if I don't just start it up. Let me just see how loud it's going to be. Okay, that's kind of loud. If I bring this down and this up. Boy, that sounds like a lot of... Whew. Okay. Alright, so get ready to laugh. Alright, let me just get this crank. I can kind of crank it up as I go too if it doesn't have enough impact. But I think it like starts right away, and I remember the vocal just being a nightmare challenge. Alright, here we go.
I caught a glimpse of God.
Wow, that exhausted me just hearing that. Oh my Lord. Whew. I'm telling you, that was a lot of work. All right, so let's hear some isolated tracks. Now, the drums, let me fix that real quick. Those are, I've made that be, there. I took a couple of tracks in the drums to replace it with, so there's that, and then this will be right overheads 2. Good. Oh, and the other thing is that I had to switch out cards because this was on an old card. So if you ever have to switch out cards, turn off your unit. Where's my card? I've got a couple. I've got 3 of them, 3 different ones, and all of them have my first album on it. And I've talked about that in another video. But when you take off the card, you're going to turn off the machine, push in just a little bit, depress so that it, there's a spring-loaded deal in there that pops out. So once you get the card out, carefully replace it. Try not to touch those metal strips, those little terminals. Because that's where the connection is made. Take your new card and just kind of ease it in. Sometimes you have to kind of go back and forth, then press it until you feel a resounding click, then turn it on. If you do it with the machines on, it's going to ask you to load and stuff like that, and you might erase your card, so be careful. Make sure that machine's off to avoid mix-ups. Alright, so here are the drums. Make sure it's just the drums. Yeah, it should be. I'll start adding instruments.
guitar.
Okay, we'll start it over. Here we go. Drums and bass. Quick note on how I'm playing this back. Effect is in mastering. You go to the mastering screen, and then you go to the input screen. Make sure you're on master so that all 24 channels are accounted for, as opposed to like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. And then you can edit it. You go down and edit it. I've got mine on 50-50 as far as the crossovers. Everything else is on 5. Just I went through and put it on 5. Huh? That's not on 5. Okay, maybe I added a little extra low. Then normalizer I always put on 0. I don't want that. The 3-band EQ, everything's on 5. It's on 62 for the level. The dimension room thing's off. I never have that on ever. The patch level's 24. ZNR's off. Never have that on. Okay, so that makes it sound way better while you're playing it back. All right, drums and bass. Okay, I don't have all the vocals in here. That was the problem. That's why I had to play that the WAV file. I mean the stereo mix. But I think that I could make this song sound a lot better because those drums. Listen to these drums. I forgot how much work I put into these drums. Made them sound a lot better. Hold on, let me just leave the bass and the drums in. I thought the bass sounded good too. It makes me see, okay, there's some potential here if I go back to and the other thing is that all the guitars on this tune were done inside the Zoom. I used the clean channel, the first clean channel for that. And it was my Les Paul custom, that's why it kind of sounds dirty. That guitar doesn't super clean up, you know, like a Strat does. Rush, that cymbal right there is like so it's like wasn't a tight come down on the one like I like. All right, so that was that song, and that's my those are my thoughts on Kate Bush. Highly recommend her as an artist if you have not doven in yet. All right, doven in, that's not a word. If you have not gotten into her yet, you know, I think there's probably this is probably the best time to get into Kate Bush because there's so much stuff that it's so easy to access, you know, compared to back in the day. You had to just, you know, sometimes these records weren't always easy to find in your town, you know. A lot of times you had to get these as European imports. Next time.